Boys in the Berg, hosted by Chris, JJ, and Andrew Speranza. Welcome to Boys in the Berg, the podcast all about Pittsburgh. My name is Chris Speranza, and I'm going to say hello to JJ.
Hi, good to be back.
Yes, and I'm going to say hi to Andy.
Wow, your voice got really high there. Hello, boys. It's good to see your faces. Good to talk to you both, JJ. It's been a couple weeks. Good to see you, and good to have you back on the pod.
Thank you. I've missed your hair, and I've missed Chris's
hair.
Hair. Yeah, both your hairs.
So for today's episode, this is not the greatest quarterback in the world, but this is just a tribute.
Oh, that was good. Just so you guys know, he doesn't tell us these jokes before he says them, so we're always like, "Oh, well, here we go."
These are in the moment. We are not prepared for them, so that was a good one.
That was good.
Or whatever that breakdown is in the song. That's a good song. Can we talk about that song for a second?
Oh,
Does
no.
Dave Grohl
We're
play
already
the devil
going
in
on
that song?
Dave Grohl does play the devil in that song.
Okay, because he played the devil in that song, and he also played the devil in the Pick of Destiny, right?
He did, and now he's doing a scary movie with the band for their next album, and it's about a haunted house.
I saw that. I'm like, why? I guess it doesn't matter why. They can just do whatever they want.
They can.
But before we get started on not the greatest quarterback in the world, this tribute show, so I would like to talk about, how was your cruise?
Oh, okay. The cruise was amazing. I don't know if
Did you bring home COVID?
No, I didn't bring COVID. To get onto the cruise ship, you had to have proof that you got vaccinated, and you had to have a negative test within 24 hours or 48 hours or something like that. We had 700 or 670 people on the cruise ship that could fit 3,500 people.
So you had space, there could have been like a crowded cruise ship, and you definitely had some room, right?
Dude, I ate so much food because they kept coming around and going, "Here's some more. Oh, here's some more." Our waiter at the restaurant, dude. Our waiter at the restaurant, I was like, "Should I get the shrimp or the I don't know, fish entree?" He's like, "I bring both." Okay. One night though, I couldn't sleep, and everyone was asleep that was in our crew. So I went up to the top of the deck because they were having a big deck party, which typically, Andy, have you been on cruises before?
I have, yes.
Remember? You went on the Disney cruise. You lived my dream. Ironically, the boat was probably called the Disney Dream.
You know what? That might actually have been it. It was something like that. It was like the Disney Dream or like Disney. No, I remember what it was. It was the Disney Wonder. That's what it was. Disney Wonder.
Oh, nice. All right, JJ. So what happened at this party?
Usually when you go to these parties, there's like a ton of people dancing around and people are drinking and like just kind of doing their thing. I walked up to like probably 20 workers, no people on the boat enjoying themselves, just these dead-eyed workers dancing in this mechanical movement. Like, I just want this to end. I can't do this anymore.
Oh my God.
I feel like that's some horror. Must be some horror movies.
It was terrifying. I was like, just stop dancing.
You don't have to, but we need to.
Like they look up at like a camera. So that was weird. They were trying to make it normal, and there was like maybe 3 kids on the entire boat, and like, you know, carnivals geared towards adults and kids. It was like a free for all, but it was a really good time. It was also 37 degrees in Florida.
Oh my God.
It was 37 degrees in Florida.
Yep. At night it was 37 with wind advisory, so it was like getting smacked in the face with cold weather the whole time.
Holy hell. Like, I know it's February, I guess January in that instance, but like, wow. I can't imagine it'd be 37 in Florida.
We laid on the beach with our hoodies and sweatpants on and our feet sticking out to get our sand in the sun. That's it.
Well, to transition that, let's go into what I had to go through.
Oh,
And it
the
was
opposite.
it was cold and snowy. So I basically described it in the thing, the last episode, if you want to call it an episode. Basically, I travel for work. I was in Michigan on Tuesday, woke up Wednesday, there was snow. I had to drive to Indiana. Thursday, northern Indiana had snow, so I couldn't go anywhere. So what I did talk about, I'll just recap real quickly. I went into a hotel room that I originally booked, and I heard two truckers through the wall, and I said, I'm not doing this. And I got a room upgrade to a suite, which I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a difference between a hotel when you see like Comfort Inn and Comfort Suites, and I never knew that.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
I don't think I knew that either.
Yeah.
So like, what's the big difference?
Basically, an inn is just like you get like, a bed, a king size bed or two queens, and like that's your room. Like in a suite, you get like a living room and like your own bedroom, and it's pretty cool.
That does sound pretty cool. That's awesome.
So just to recap the other weird things that happened, I mobile ordered Starbucks while I was there, and I had to walk there because I couldn't drive in the snow. And because of COVID, their front door was locked, and I put in a mobile order for pickup. So I went to the drive-through window, and no, first I went to the drive-through screen and stood there.
I gotta interrupt you. Wait, real quick. I feel like I could really imagine you having like going in one of those like cardboard like cutouts that looks like a car, and you're like, beep, beep, I'm here for my coffee.
His face was.
So I went to the drive-through speaker and I was like, hello. And no one responded because I wouldn't. And then I just went to the drive-through window and knocked on it and said, I have a mobile order pickup. And then I got my food. And then later that night, I went to an Outback Steakhouse that was out there and legit shit myself at the bar. I don't know why, but I shit myself and was just like, this is such a weird day.
Like in your pants?
Yeah.
What'd you order from Starbucks? Magnesium nitrate?
No, and then that happened. And then the next day I had to stay again. And I walked to Buffalo Wild Wings. I was like a half a mile away. and I drank there. And then I walked a half a mile back and took a nap. And then woke up. Went back to Outback Steakhouse.
I wonder what will solve my diarrhea. I know, more drinking and wings.
So that was my week.
Well, Andy should have a story for us too.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, because he was here whenever it rained and then froze and then snowed.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't really do anything. I stayed hunkered down, and I stayed away from the outside and all the ice and snow. I didn't really. You know what? I feel like I'm failing expectations. I actually don't have a story.
So you didn't do what snowboarders do and just drive their treadless tires up to the top of a mountain and snowboard?
I didn't. I should have. I should have given it a try, but you know what? I didn't. I feel bad. I came unprepared with the story.
You guys will appreciate this because I was so dumbfounded when I heard the story. My coworker said that back where he's from, people would drill screws into their tires when it snowed outside so they could have traction.
That's believable.
I can't believe. Why would you drill a screw in your tire?
I've never heard. Yeah, that's what you get a hole in your tire. I mean, I know, like, still, like, I'd never heard of that before. Like,
it reminds them of home.
Oh my god,
that's so weird.
Okay, we need to get started with this. We're about 10 minutes in.
We're catching up.
Good
we talked a little bit about Ben Roethlisberger, but the reason why I wanted to do this, one, because Ben Roethlisberger retired, and yay! and I think it'd be very cool to just basically talk about his football career. And I mean, this episode could go any direction. I had to watch like a couple videos because when you try and think of like Ben Roethlisberger moments, I usually go straight to like thinking of like just straight up Steelers moments. So that's why it was a little bit hard for me to put this all together. But I mean, I thought of some things. So and some rhetorical questions that that the three of us can try and discuss.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a mighty fine plan.
So let's go ahead and get started. There was a man, Benjamin Roethlisberger, from Miami of Ohio. So basically my first research I found a lot of things he's done. Like his highlights, and maybe this is a hot take, I think he was the first like mobile quarterback before like there was a Russell Wilson or a Patrick Mahomes.
I would say he was the first to be good at scrambling.
He kind of brought like that double threat of like, he's big so you can't take him down, but he also runs in the pocket a lot. Like compared to like watching like his earlier seasons, and then you watch like how he played this year, where he just like literally got rid of the ball in like 2 seconds. Like he would run around a lot and be like, "You can't catch me," and like you couldn't bring him down. Like I watched one play of his where Terrell Suggs tried taking him down, and Ben was just like, "Nope." And like stayed up. He like threw it out of bounds, but it was like a huge highlight because it was like Terrell Suggs, and he said he wanted to keep Ben's organs in a fridge, so I would run away too.
That's how they do it at Balso Hard University.
Yeah, Balso Hard. But yeah, JJ, you have a lot of stats that you want to share, and just to remind everyone, this is a comedy podcast.
He's reminding me to not get too off task. So Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger Sr. was born in Lima, Ohio on March 2nd, 1982, which is a 4-hour and 4-minute drive to Heinz Field. Little fun fact for you. He played Findlay High School. He didn't play football until his actual senior year of high school. He played basketball most of his time in high school. He played wide receiver and went to, like Chris said, Miami University in Ohio.
Of Ohio.
Yep. He broke 2 NCAA records for most wins in consecutive games played there.
Wow.
As Chris said, he was drafted to the Steelers at the Combine. He was 6'5", 241 pounds. He won Rookie of the Year in 2005. You guys know he was the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
I don't think I did know that.
Yeah,
I think Tom Brady first held the record, and then it was Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he was 23 when they beat the Seattle Seahawks in 2005.
Jesus.
Just think.
If I could talk about...
Good.
Sorry, if I could talk about the first moment I could think of, apparently like that game was Ben Roethlisberger's like worst performance like a quarterback could have.
Seriously?
Yeah, apparently his stats were not great in that Super Bowl. And if we could talk about that season real quickly, there are 2 specific moments I would like to talk about. One that's funny and one that's kind of serious. The funny one is his diving touchdown that really wasn't a touchdown in Super Bowl 40 when his helmet was on the line and the football was nowhere near it, and he just pokes his head up like Punxsutawney Phil on Groundhog's Day and just drives the football forward. And
I forgot about that play, and it was so controversial.
oh my god, like that play and like the Santonio Holmes catch where like people in Arizona saying the toe wasn't down. But you know what? You're going to have controversy and everything. Marshawn should have ran it. You're going to have that all the time.
You know what? I don't want to go too like off topic here, but like my favorite thing is like I'll be on Facebook or anything and I'll see like a post like, you know, about anything, like literally anything at all. It could be about like Joe Biden or something like that. And one of the comments will always be like, Seahawks should have ran it. And I always love it so much.
The second
That's
moment
amazing.
that I wanted to talk about was the toe tackle or the shoelace tackle.
Yeah, it's somehow infamous.
Yeah, it's very infamous. If no one knows what we're talking about, basically what happened in the AFC divisional playoffs, uh, the Steelers were playing the Indianapolis Colts, and they basically had the game won. All they had to do, this is 2005, they had to hand it off to Jerome Bettis, and that was literally it. And there's actually footage of him saying, like, yeah, I don't care, I'll hold on to the ball. Jerome fumbled it, and a Colts player picked it up and had no one there except for Ben and started sprinting towards the end zone. And Ben, with probably the worst tackle I've ever seen in my life, like Ben fell over. Basically, his hand accidentally like touched the guy's foot. No, I'm just kidding. He actually made an attempt, but like Ben like grabbed the guy's foot, and that guy, I'll have to find out his name, but like that guy tripped, and Adam Vinatieri missed like the last second field goal. I believe Adam Vinatieri was their kicker at the time.
If it was the Colts, then yeah.
Yeah. So that was also another moment that was like insane in that season.
That was a bad. Did you and I have the NFL like playback thing with like the guy who's like, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers needed a little more. Did we have that for that Super Bowl, or was that the Cardinals? Super Bowl?
Nope. That is Super Bowl 43, the 2009 season. I have the DVD, and I can either watch the NFL Films version that I can easily find on YouTube now, or I could legitimately watch every single play from the divisional. I think that no, they were a 2 seed. I think from the divisional conference championship and Super Bowl. Like I have like it would just play the game straight out.
And Andy, I'm serious when I say this. Chris and I used to watch that DVD the entire day before watching the Super Bowl that night.
Really?
Yeah, I would get chills every single time.
We'd start at
Just
like 10 a.m. watching, and then watch the Super Bowl directly after it ended.
That like it's a good way to get hyped up for it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and you know what?
Chris.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying another lame thing. I would cry when they would play the credits, and it would be the Super Bowl parade that would be in Pittsburgh, and I cried every time I saw Troy Polamalu jump into the crowd.
Aw, you big softy.
I'd be like, we used to be good. And then you realize that was almost 15 years ago at this point.
That's my quarterback. That's my team.
But yeah, I would watch that DVD, and NFL Channel would always play like the other Super Bowls, like in that NFL Films version, which is my favorite version because it's super easy to watch.
Oh, it's so entertaining too. Like they make it like a drama, you know? Like you can't look away.
Yeah.
You're going to miss something.
Because let's be honest. Let's all be honest here for a second. Okay? Let's all be honest.
Let's be honest. Okay.
Let's be honest. When we're watching a football game, it's probably going to happen during the Super Bowl too. We always end up playing on our phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football in general is boring until the fourth quarter. So, is that controversial? Is that a hot take?
I don't know about that, man.
No, like I'll be watching the game and then like I'll play on my phone, and when Chris Collinsworth is like, "Oh my god," like that's when I'll like put my phone down and be like, "What's happening?"
I don't know, because I watch all the games on Sunday, like either on my phone or on the TV, and if it's on my phone, I can't do anything else. So maybe it's just me. I just like watching them the whole way through.
Let me also restate what I said. When we're playing fantasy football with each other, I will watch the whole game because I'm watching a certain player. So I'm watching, hoping to God that like Tyreek Hill gets a catch or something. But like other than that, if I'm watching a Steelers game and no one's on my fantasy team or on the opponent's, my fantasy players are on the opponent's team, I just kind of like, you know, wait for Joe Buck to have an erection and just,
which is usually the third. That's when the Cialis kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with Chris. I mean, like I'm sort of the same way, where if it's if I don't really have any players on a specific team that we were, that we're watching, like this year in our old podcast, we talked about our fantasy, our this year's fantasy teams, and this one here, I had Deontay Johnson in every game, and then I did have Big Ben, maybe 2 or 3 games, but other years, whenever I don't really have anyone on the Steelers, I have a hard time watching, to be completely honest.
Actually, since you're talking about wide receivers really quickly, I put a list together of who do we think Ben Roethlisberger's best wide receiver was?
Antonio Brown.
James Washington.
I'm a Swede.
No, I got one more.
Isaac Redman.
No. Jericho Cotchery.
Jericho Cotchery. That's the winner right there.
Honestly, when I was watching the highlights, Jericho Cotchery was in for the most of them. So let me tell you the list I put together, and I'm going to see how you guys react to it. Okay, so here are some of the best wide receivers I put down for Ben Roethlisberger, and anybody can agree or disagree. First, I have this is in no particular order. This is just written down. Santonio Holmes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Heath Miller.
Yeah.
Heath.
Antonio Brown, of course, but which, if you saw this list on the internet, he's actually thrown the most touchdown passes to Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Hines Ward.
Oh, classic.
Which Hines Ward and Ben Roethlisberger, you could find their jerseys anytime at a Goodwill, as long as you wear a child's extra large.
Oh man.
These next two are going to surprise you, but when I was watching the highlights last night, I was like, I'm seeing these names a lot. You'll be surprised. Mike Wallace and Plexico. Yes, I know. Hold on. Hear me out. Mike Wallace and Plexico Burress.
That's not too surprising. Plexico Burress was a really good wide receiver for a while there.
Yeah, and I don't think Mike Wallace is too crazy of one to think of, because Mike Wallace was part of that team that went to Super Bowl 45.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I just always forget about, when we're talking about the best wide receivers for the Steelers / Big Ben, I just feel like Mike Wallace sometimes always falls off the radar in that. Even right now, I know that he's not playing now, but even after his time with the Steelers, I just felt like he really fell off. It was hard to keep up with him,
Once you go Ben, you never go back. I don't know. I was trying to think of something.
That could have gone bad. There's one more wide receiver I'm waiting to hear. Is there anyone else on the list?
No, but can I guess what it is real quick?
Yeah.
Come
on, you should know this. Who I'm thinking of?
Well, what team was he part of? The 05 team, the 09 team?
I think he was 05. He might have been 05, 06.
Matt Spaeth. I don't know.
Antoine Randall L.
No. No.
No.
I don't think he threw to him that much. I don't think Antoine Randall, he did good for that Super Bowl 40 play that we all remember, where it was the reverse pitch, Willie Parker to Antoine Randall to Hines Ward in the end zone. We all remember that play, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he was one of Ben's main targets. I think it was more of Hines Ward.
Oh, I thought we were just talking about great wide receivers.
No, I was talking about great wide receivers that Ben Roethlisberger threw to. Don't you know what this show is? It's the Ben Roethlisberger Tribute Show.
I'm sorry. Shame.
But no, that's a good one.
Shame.
But
I feel like for me, it's always been Antonio Brown. It's always, especially towards the end of his years here in Pittsburgh, it's always been Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. It's always been a good connection there. So I think my vote, a lot of good names on that list for sure. But Antonio Brown's going to be my vote.
Yeah. You know who I did not add on this list, and you guys can tell me if like Ben and this guy had a connection with each other or not. Juju SmithSchuster.
Yeah, I was starting to think about the newer guys, Chase Claypool, Juju.
I mean, if Ben was younger, he'd have such a better connection with those two, especially Juju and Smith-Schuster, or Juju and Chase Claypool.
Oh my god, watching Ben's old highlights, he was like literally a gigantic Russell Wilson. Like he would literally run around the field until he found something. Like, can you imagine like if you had like the speed of the wide receivers and like no, first of all, probably the fastest wide receivers Ben has had were Antonio Brown and Santonio Holmes because they both had very similar playing styles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like if you combine like that speed with like Ben running around everywhere, I think the Steelers would have had a really good team like this year.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
But you can't really like, can't really compete with Father Time. That's why I feel like, we good receivers, good running backs, but I think just because Big Ben was getting a little bit older, put him in there like 10 years ago with the players that we have now, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah. Hashtag get Russell Wilson.
I was wondering if you were going down that road.
Yeah, I'm going down that. Now let's talk about.
I'm thinking more Gardner Minshew or,
Think of Mark Sanchez.
There we go. Good old.
So
Marky
real quickly, who's better, Ben Roethlisberger or Terry Bradshaw?
Well, I'm glad you said that, Chris, because Ben Roethlisberger holds the record for the most passing yards at 64,088 over Terry Bradshaw, and also has the most touchdowns in the Steelers' history over Terry Bradshaw with 418. So the record shows Big Ben has a better record.
So I did write this down too. Apparently, Ben had a 6-touchdown game against the Indianapolis Colts. Here are the stats. He went 40 for 49, like completion and attempts, 522 yards and 6 touchdowns. And I believe the 2009 season they went to the Super Bowl, and 0 interceptions.
Yo, those are Mahomes numbers.
Yeah, they were both franchise records. And then the next game, he threw 6 touchdowns again against Baltimore. He's the only quarterback in a 2-game span to throw 12 touchdown passes, except for one person who he tied with. Now, let's all say his name together. His name was Tom Brady.
To piggyback that, Ben Roethlisberger is the only quarterback to ever register 2 perfect passing games in one regular season.
Really?
Yeah.
So, also, just real quickly again, that Tom Brady back-to-back 6 touchdown games, or I think it was, yeah. That was the 2007 season for the Patriots. Does everyone remember what the 2007 Patriots did?
They went undefeated.
They went undefeated until the Super Bowl with Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
Man, what a combo.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, everyone who's listening to this podcast expecting comedy, you're getting stats.
Analytics.
Hashtag Drew Bledsoe.
So, if anything... Oh, Drew Bledsoe. So, if anything, do we have anything else to say about, like, Ben Roethlisberger? Like, I guess, like, my favorite moment...
Yes.
Oh, my God.
JJ came prepared for this episode.
You know what? I'm going to let you take over for a little bit, JJ, because you got a lot of stuff you want to say.
Allow me. Sorry, guys. I'm going to pull my paper here. All right. Here's some Big Ben fun facts.
Oh, jeez.
Ben Roethlisberger sells a Big Ben brand barbecue sauce and Big Ben XL beef jerky. They're both really good, evidently, and a lot of their proceeds go to charities. So that's pretty cool. His wife, Ashley, is from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, where my wife is from. A little connection there. And they have 3 kids, Ben Jr., Bailey, and Bodie. Here's the one that Chris, I wrote this down with you in mind, and the next one I wrote down with Andy in mind. Ben Roethlisberger hosted WWE Raw in 2009.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
When him and the offensive line were on the stage.
Can I go back into that? So
Yeah.
basically, this was happening during the Monday Night Raw celebrity. Like they had celebrity general managers because I don't know why. I guess they wanted to get their numbers up. So these people included like Bob Barker and just like a bunch of other people. So Ben Roethlisberger went on to the show with DX to do a segment, and I guess they were doing something with I think Big Show and Chris Jericho, I think. And Ben's like, I got some backup, and then the linemen come out and they all do a 3-point stance, and the Big Show does a 3-point stance across from them. And then I guess they left the ring. I'd have to watch a segment again. And Ben grabs the microphone and goes, if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. And I'm just like, promo skills are not for this guy.
You are incredible with your memory of this nonsense.
But no, like as a Steelers fan, like, you know, like we're used to not many players, like, you know, being in the spotlight. Like, you know, nobody's going to, like, people are going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger, but everyone's mostly going to talk about Tom Brady during, like, you know, whatever, 20 years from now for the Hall of Fame or something.
Oh, God.
So,
if Tom Brady outshadows Big Ben at the Hall of Fame, that's going to be so disappointing.
yeah. So, I mean, it is like, you know, it was really cool to see, like, Ben Roethlisberger, like, in that spot.
Yeah.
So, what's your fact for Andy?
He acted in The Dark Knight Rises.
Really?
He did. Him and Hines Ward.
Yeah, they were both in the movie.
Yeah.
As the quarterback for the something Gotham team. I forgot to write that down.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. Like the Gotham something. Gotham Knights?
I think so. Or Gotham.
Oh, that'd be funny. Gotham Knights. That's a wordplay right there.
The Gothams.
The Gothams.
And last thing, and this is because of my foodie in me, there's a restaurant called Pepe's Old Time Sandwich Shop that has the famous, popular number 7 Roethlisberger, which is a hoagie with sausage, because, like Big Ben, sausage is big, strong, and powerful. Ground beef, topped with scrambled egg, because Big Ben scrambled around so much in the pocket, and American cheese.
Wow. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You know what? If I'm not mistaken, he actually is good friends with Kenny Chesney too. If I'm not, you know, every time Kenny Chesney comes to town for a concert, Big Ben always shows up at concert.
Boy, that's not surprising.
Well, Kenny Chesney, he does the cheap pop, as they say in wrestling. Like he always does the cheap pop where he comes out and he puts on, like, in whatever stadium he's in, and he puts on that team helmet and he's just like, ha ha, and everyone's like, he likes our city. Meanwhile, he's like, nah, fuck this city. I can't wait to get out.
When you said cheap pop, I thought you meant like Dr. Thunder or something. I was like, what?
I am so glad you brought up that Monday Night Raw thing. I completely forgot about that.
I can't believe you didn't say anything.
No, I didn't say anything. I don't know. I'm a wrestling fan, but, like, you know, I'm not going on YouTube to be like, I remember that time when Ben like had his you know, lineman doing a 3-point stance to take on the Big Show.
Oh, okay. 2 more things, and I'm done with my stuff here. His college retired his number back in 2007, so no one can have his college number. And finally, the biggest accomplishment for him, 1, being he participated in 6 Pro Bowls. 2, he's the quarterback with the longest career with one team in NFL history, with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, that is a very, very important fact, and very Pittsburgh Steeler, like, to stick with the team until the end, which is why people are going to, like, you know, probably buy his jersey forever. And when I worked in the strip district in the Steelers store, people all the time like either wanted like TJ Watt, which understandable because he's a beast and a monster, or they strangely wanted Alejandro Villanueva. Specifically the salute to service jersey.
See, that's why I feel like people wanted that sort of him, just because that's he has a big connection there, and I feel like yeah, I can understand that.
And Andy, because he is such a good guy.
Steelers fans, can I tell you why you haven't won a Super Bowl in nearly 15 years? Because you go for the person that's a good guy. You know where it gets you? Nowhere. We should have paid Le'Veon. I don't care what anyone says. We should have paid Le'Veon.
Oh, God.
I don't know. We're going to have to agree and disagree on that one.
Could you imagine if we had Le'Veon Bell and we had Najee Harris on the same team? Oh, my God.
It wouldn't even be fair. We wouldn't even need wide receivers.
But speaking of Najee Harris, I do want to talk about Ben Roethlisberger's last home game at Heinz Field, because we do not acknowledge his true last game.
Yeah.
Where they called a timeout to try and get him one last touchdown at the last second. But so I told my boss this the night before or the night after. I forget which one. But it was a Sunday night football game, and I had to be up at work for we all get up early. Like I have to get up at 6 a.m.
Oh, boo-hoo. We got to get up at 6 a.m. Try 4:30, bitch.
Ew. I would not be proud of that. 4:30 a.m.? No. Who are you? The Rock?
All right, I'm sorry. I had to give shit. Go ahead.
So I told my boss, straight up to his face, listen, some games are more important than work. And this was one of those games. Why do I say Najee Harris? Because I got chills when Najee Harris broke out and ran for a touchdown to seal the win against I forget who they were playing, but to seal the win for Ben Roethlisberger's his last win at Heinz Field. And then when whoever got that interception and Ben was able to do a victory kneel. What's that called again? Victory formation?
Yeah.
Do a victory formation. Oh my God. And then they interviewed him afterwards and he's choking up, just oh God, oh my God. I was I was laying in bed because I was exhausted, but I was forcing my eyes open. I'm laying in bed crying with Carissa snoring next to me. That was my reaction to the game. What was your guys' reaction?
I'll let you go first, Andy.
Oh, you guys are gonna hate me.
No. Andy's more of a hockey fan.
I passed. No. I was trying to watch it, but I passed out. That was the nighttime game, right?
Well, when someone gets up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning.
No, I mean, you know what, Chris, you are right. I mean, we talked about this before the recording started here. That we're sort of running point on a couple of these episodes here. This is definitely JJ's here. I am more of a hockey person than a football person, but with all of that said, I mean, I do enjoy football. I do. And I feel like ever since I'm going to be turning 26 here in a couple days. And ever since I was young, anytime I would think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would think about Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? He's been the quarterback for as long as I can, consciously remember. So, when I may have not watched his last game, but whenever that quarterback is going to be done after that, and after quite a career, it is sad. It's very, very sad, because the same way you guys feel about Ben Roethlisberger, I'm probably going to feel the same way about Sidney Crosby whenever that happens. So it's sad. It really is sad. And like I said, though I may not have watched the end of it, it does feel like the end of an era. I mean, it really is the end of an era. So It's sad. It really is, and I was upset.
It is weird thinking that like we were like in our 20s at least. Like I'm 29, JJ you're 30, Andy you're about to be 26. Our era in our early 20s was just, or like teens in high school, was just Pittsburgh running fucking crazy, like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup. Pirates made it a playoff game. Like it was
Dude,
like we were. Sorry, go ahead.
I remember in high school, whenever we went to the Super Bowl for the first time, they were blasting on the loudspeakers of the school that here we go, Steelers, here we go. Like it's such a proud city of our sports teams, of our hockey team and football team. Like, just what an awesome city to support when it comes to sports.
And not even that, but I feel like the other thing too is that we have been so blessed to have all these players play their entire careers here. When you talk about Ben Roethlisberger, and I guess you could throw Antonio Brown in there as well, but I mean Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Sidney Crosby, Andrew McCutcheon, like we have these teams, if you want to include the Pirates, I guess, but I mean we have these teams with these players that they play their entire careers here, and Ben Roethlisberger was definitely one of them. So it's really cool because we could have lived anywhere else in the country, and those players could have jumped around from a couple different teams as some of these other teams players do. So when you have not only one but three sports teams that have their their main players play the majority of their career in Pittsburgh, it's something special. It really is.
It is. And like you said, it was basically Ben, Sidney, and Kutch. Like it was that like during our prime.
Yeah.
Like of us watching sports. Like that's something we could tell like our kids in the future. That's like that's like for the 70s. That's like that Sports Illustrated cover, Terry Bradshaw and Willie Stargell. Like we have like that moment.
Yeah. And not to get too off topic here, because I know this is about Ben Roethlisberger. Tom Brady also just announced his retirement, and I don't know about you guys, he was just so much fun to watch because he was so damn talented.
Tom Brady, he was the opposite of how Ben played. Ben would run around and like I feel like there would be games where I'd be like, he is throwing so many more interceptions. But Tom Brady just had it, like staying in the pocket and like throwing darts. Like he was great.
If you watch his like games when he was younger, he could throw the ball like 70 yards and not even think about it. He was just, and he still is, just an amazing quarterback. And I liked the Patriots when Drew Bledsoe played for them. That was my first team I ever started watching, of course, with the Steelers. But he, man, it's sad to know that we're going to go into an NFL draft next year for our fantasy football league, and Andy and I aren't going to fight over Tom Brady this year.
So is he retired or is he not retired?
He announced it.
I know, I'm kidding.
That whole controversy.
That was such a mess.
I feel like he tried to announce his retirement. It was like, what's everyone gonna say? What's everyone feeling? Should I actually do it? Should I actually not?
I think he should have came out with another Hulu commercial to announce his retirement.
That was we might be talking about two different ones, but what are you talking about?
It was the Hulu commercial we did during the Super Bowl. Like everyone was like, "Is he going to retire?" And he's like, "I have a very special announcement."
Yeah,
Hulu is such a great streaming service. And then like
that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, but it was like my fans should hear this first. Hulu has no ads.
Gronkowski's looking at him like, Gronk tired. Please retire, please.
No, I think if Gronk would have had T-Mobile in the first place, he wouldn't have had to go to Tampa Bay.
But he's Super Bowl winning tight end Rob Gronkowski.
Now he has USAA.
No, he doesn't, because he's not a member.
But I'm special.
Come on, you're supposed to have my back.
Busted.
Busted.
I would like to do a whole episode on just Gronk episodes. Gronk commercials.
That'd be amazing.
He is a funny. Do you know they made a Family Guy episode based around Rob Gronkowski?
No, what?
They made one around Tom Brady. I know that.
They made one around Tom Brady, yeah, for sure. But one of the newer episodes, apparently Rob Gronkowski moves in on Peter Street.
Oh my god! Is it as funny as Ryan Reynolds moving in on Spooner Street?
That one was just weird.
That was not weird. It was funny.
No, that was very weird.
So let's go ahead and finish it off by saying thank you, Ben Roethlisberger. But who's next?
Mason Rudolph.
Oh God.
Mason Rudolph is about ready to play quarterback as I am.
Oh man. But let's go ahead, just a real quick discussion about it, because I also saw, because basically going along the Pittsburgh way, because Pittsburgh like people who are from Pittsburgh and who are good guys, there are rumors out there of the Steelers going to draft Kenny Pickett, who is a Pitt quarterback and a Heisman runner-up.
I've been listening to a lot of news about this because have you guys heard like the one reason people don't want him on their teams?
No.
He has small hands.
What?
So the whole thing is that he's a great quarterback. He's talented. He might be a rising star. His hands are small, and a NFL football is like an inch thicker than like in diameter than a college football.
Oh,
so coaches are afraid that his little small hands won't be able to hold the football or throw it far enough.
All right. So this message is directly for Kenny Pickett right now. Here's how you win the Steelers fans over based on my research. First of all, the fans have control. Why do you think Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown left? Because the fans have control. Here is my message for you, Kenny. Be Ben's backup. Sorry, be Mason Rudolph's backup. Be Mason Rudolph's backup. And just start selling your jersey at random little places, and eventually, and then just go on social media and say, I'm a nice guy. And I guarantee you, Kenny, you will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It happened with Duck Hodges. I think you can do it too.
Duck Hodges. Oh my God.
Do you know he's playing in like Canada or something? Do you guys know that?
Yeah, he's doing good too.
I found that out just a couple days ago. Like he's playing in Canada right now. I'm like, oh, really?
You know, Chris, I don't want to go back too far in, but do you remember the one Steeler game that you and I went to? And it was not Big Ben playing; it was somebody else playing. No, Big Ben was playing.
It was Big Ben. So can I go into this real quick?
I'm glad I brought it up. Yeah,
because I researched this and I watched the highlights so I could remember if this was the game.
Attaboy.
The date was, I'm going to probably use this for the audiograms because this is a funny story. So it was my birthday. This game happened on October 30th. My birthday was October 16th. I was dating a girl at the time. That was my high school girlfriend. And for my birthday,
the band story girl.
Yes, the band story girl. And so for my birthday, I got a pair of Steelers tickets to that Patriots game. And what happened was we were at Permani's, and the girl I was dating at the time was just like, that's so awesome. Who do you think you're going to take with you? I mean, I don't care who you take with you. Basically, she wanted me to take her with her and take her to the game with me. And then you and I use the bathroom, and I go, I'm taking you to the game. And apparently she wasn't a fan of that. So,
Slagathor.
Audiogram done. Okay, so here's what happened. The end of the game, I will never forget the end of the game because it was one of the only times the Steelers beat Tom Brady. What happened was Tom Brady went back for the pass, and maybe this will spark something in your mind, JJ. This is towards the end of the game. Brett Kiesel hits the ball out of Tom Brady's hand. Troy Polamalu punches the football back into the end zone, and Ziggy Hood recovers the football in the end zone.
Holy hell. Oh, that's going back.
So I remember that play live because we were like, it was like 50 seconds left in the game, and Tom Brady had the goddamn ball. We were like, oh no.
But like, think about that. We witnessed Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger play an amazing game against each other. We were there. We witnessed it. That's something that, like, I don't know. Like, people saw Terry Bradshaw play against the Bears and Packers. Like, we're gonna have those stories to tell now. Like, it's crazy that that's where we're at now with Ben retiring and Brady retiring.
Yeah, it's wild. But do we have anything else to add on?
I don't think so.
I'm good. Andy's screen froze, and it looked like he was like
Swiveling back
like
and
they were
forth.
like inching toward the screen in like claymation style.
Because of lovely internet service, just Andy's glitching closer and closer. The next screen is just going, yeah, see, he did it.
So listen, Andy, whenever we do the NHL, whenever we do the Penguins, make sure you like call your internet supplier and say, here's an extra $20 for like the next hour. Just make it work.
Keep me crystal clear.
Yeah. I will mute my thing the whole time.
So nothing else to add?
No, I'm going to miss him.
So. Thank
All
you
right.
for everything, Big Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Big Ben. And thank you, Big Ben. And just like Big Ben, we're going to get at, and I'm going to tell you guys how you can follow us. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. And most importantly, share this with everyone. Tell your friends. This is word of mouth marketing. Tell everyone that you know. Go to the top of the mountain and say, boys in the Berg. No, sorry. Go to the top of Mount Washington and say, boys in the Berg. So, JJ, I'll go ahead and let you sign us off with your classic line that Andy had to say last week.
Always a pleasure. Never business.
Bye.